Hi guys, welcome back to my channel Lush Foliage. In today's video, we are going to be talking about this extremely beautiful trailing plant called as the Tradescantia zebrina, or also commonly called as the wandering Jew. Now guys, I'm sure the name wandering Jew comes because this plant is known to wander all around your garden. You just need to put it one in a pot and you'll start noticing this plant growing everywhere. It will start kind of trailing to all the other pots as well. And wherever they find soil, they will start putting out the roots. Even I had a very small little cutting and you can see how well it's growing. It has started to trail downwards. A lot of times people want to buy trailing plants either for their vertical garden, or they want to put it in their balcony so that it can trail outwards, or they want to keep it near the window. So this is one of the most easiest plant that you can ever grow, because it's not very fussy about watering, it's not very fussy about the soil mix, it's not even very fussy about fertilizers. All you have to do is just put the cutting into the soil, and that's all about it. Now guys, in this video I will show you where exactly you can start doing the cutting, and after you're done with the cuttings, again the plant will start to put out even more shoots. Now as you can see, it is a vining plant. There is going to be a very long stem, and the color of the leaves also tend to change as per the light that you give. Now the best thing about this hanging planter or the Tradescantia is that it can do quite well in less light as well. We will talk about it in the later part of the video. Now guys, this is how the plant tends to look like. This is how the plant tends to grow. It will start to trail out, and you will start noticing, just like any other plants, you will start noticing that there are going to be nodes on each a few centimeters or few inches apart from the leaves. There are going to be small little tiny roots, as you can see over here. So this is where you can go ahead and do a cutting. Now in case if you do not find any roots, it's absolutely okay. You can cut any part of the stem. It will start to generate roots. You can either do a water propagation, or you can directly put it into the soil. Any of this method will work out really well. Now I usually do not put it into the water, because once you put it into the water, once the roots appear, you have to then again go ahead and put it into the soil. So might as well just put it into the soil directly. So these are all the nodes. As you can see, there are ample amount of roots. So this is where we will be going ahead and doing the cutting. So now let's propagate the Tradescantia zebrina. Now guys, another thing what I would say, this plant is easily found in the nurseries as well. But I would say, rather than buying it, you can always ask for cuttings from your neighbors, or maybe if it's there in the park, you can check with someone and just take the cutting. Because even if you're going to take a half an inch of the cutting, it will start to go, because it's a very prolific grower. You can see in this video over here, I had just put half an inch of the Tradescantia zebrina, and over the period of probably 3 to 4 months, you can see how well it has spread across the collection, the arrangement. You can see how well it starts to grow. So it's not necessary that you have to purchase. You can just take a small cutting and that's more than enough. Or if someone has given you a very long cutting, like over here, as you can see, this is a very long cutting. If you want to make this into like multiple shoots or into multiple pieces, then all you have to do is just cut it. Now you can cut any part of the stem. I will cut this one as well. There are no roots here, but I will still go ahead and cut it. So you can cut that one. If you want something with the roots, then you will find it over here. As you can see, this is the roots. You just cut it beneath that. There you go. And even this, as you can see, this also can be cut over here. So you can keep cutting as many pieces as you want, because I have a pot over here. Now because this was only one long strand, let's say that I want to make this into a very bushy pot, then all I have to do is just start pushing these cuttings into the soil like this. Don't have to be worried. You can just put it anyhow the way you want it, because over the period of time they will become very dense, and it will start to overflow the pot, and it's going to look absolutely beautiful. I'm sure you might have seen in some restaurants or in some parks, or even in a lot of houses, people tend to put them as a hanging planter. And over there, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to completely fill it up. Even if you have an extra stem like this, you can just cut that off and then put it into the soil. And in this, you do not need to be worried which side you want to put it, up or down. It will grow. Wherever there is an end, it will start to put out roots, and that's all you have to do. Now I would say do not water it the same day. Just wait for a day or so and then water it. But if you want, you can water it the same day as well. But I usually tend to wait for a day after doing any kind of cuttings. So let me finish all of these and get back to you. So as you can see, we are done. You can see how scanty the previous stem was. I still have a very large portion of the stem still with me, which I am going to put it back into the other pot, and this is the pot that I have made. Now probably in another let's say 1 month's time, this is going to become even more fuller, and you can just hang it anywhere wherever you like. Right now, as you can see, these are the cuttings, so there are no leaves on it, but eventually they will also start getting leaves. So it's not that you have to only put the one that has leaves on it. It will start eventually cascading out, and it will start having a lot of new growth. Right now you can still see a little bit of empty spot. If you want, you can add few more. You can just completely fill it up tightly. It's absolutely okay because they tend to grow outwards. So this is all about it. It's very, very simple. If you are a person who does not have any more space on the ground and now you want to set up a vertical garden, I think this is one of the best plants that you can add in your vertical garden. It tends to look absolutely beautiful, and as I said, it all depends upon the light as well. If you're going to give more light, the leaves will turn even more dark red in color. Now even though the dark red color is going to look absolutely beautiful on the plant, but it's a way of the plant telling you that the plant is getting stressed. So what's going to happen is all of that silver color that you tend to see on the leaves will start to vanish, and the plant will start to turn more red in color. I'll put the image, if I can find, I'll put it on the screen. So this is how it's going to look like. It's going to completely turn red in color. All the silver will vanish from the plant. That indicates that the plant is getting stressed. Now what happens is that when a plant is getting stressed, the growth will also reduce a lot. So if you want a fast growing plant, you can either keep it in indirect bright light, or you can even keep it in low light. Now why I'm saying that you can keep this plant in low light, because you can see the underneath of the leaves, they are darker in color. Remember, even calatheas have the same thing. It is with the Tradescantia as well. So whenever the plant has a darker undertone, it means that it can do quite well in low light or less light conditions as well. Because these plants tend to grow on the forest floor, they tend to get either filtered light or dappled light. So that's why they tend to have these darker undertones, so that they can capture as much light as possible. Now guys, if you're going to keep it in indirect bright light, I'll put that image as well. This is how the plant will look when it is kept in indirect bright light. Now over here, this plant was kept in this was actually behind the pot, so it was not getting a lot of light. So you can see the silvers are going to be more prominent than the red color. So it will do very well in indirect bright light, filtered or dappled sunlight. It can even do quite well in low light conditions as well, because a lot of times we have balconies that are either facing the north, or they do not get a lot of light. Probably there is another building in front and you do not get a lot of light, due to which you're not able to grow a lot of plants, especially colorful plants. So this is one of the plant you can definitely grow, because it is going to be still very colored even in less light. In fact, those silvers are going to look even more beautiful when there is indirect or when there is less light. The silver color becomes even more prominent and the plant starts to look really beautiful. Now talking about the care tips, it's pretty simple. All you have to do is make a mix of garden soil, coco peat, perlite and a little bit of sand, so that the soil can be well draining, because they do not like to be sitting in soggy wet soil, even though they can easily get propagated in water, but later on you need to transfer them into the soil. So ensure that your pot has a drain hole and the soil is well draining. Whenever you see around 1 to 2 inches of the soil is dry, you can go ahead and do a complete watering. Talking about fertilizers, it's not very picky about fertilizer. You can give a little bit of diluted seaweed or anything that you tend to use. It's not a very heavy feeder, so you do not need to add fertilizers every now and then. It can go without fertilizers for a couple of months as well. So guys, that's all about it. I hope that this video was helpful to you. If it was, please hit the like button. If you're new to my channel, please consider subscribing to it. Until then, take care, stay safe and keep propagating.